Caitlyn Clark is fired up. Sophie Cunningham is red hot. And the Indiana Fever just dominated the defending champion Las Vegas Aces, led by none other than A'ja Wilson. In what's shaping up to be the most electric WNBA season in years, the Indiana Fever are finally clicking. And it's not just Clark lighting it up. Sophie Cunningham has emerged as a fire starter, a floor general, and the emotional backbone of a team that just smacked the league's powerhouse right in the mouth. This is the story of how Caitlyn Clark's fire and Sophie Cunningham's grit sparked an unforgettable win against the mighty Aces, and why the rest of the league should be officially on notice. Let's get into it. Sophie Cunningham didn't just show up against the Las Vegas Aces. She arrived. The veteran guard was all over the floor, draining shots, diving for loose balls, trash-talking like a veteran, and giving the Fever something they've desperately needed: attitude, swagger, fire. From the opening tip, Sophie played like she had something to prove, and she delivered. Cunningham dropped 18 points, grabbed key rebounds, and hounded the Aces guards like her life depended on it. But it wasn't just her stat line. It was the way she did it. The intensity, the tenacity, the visible chemistry she has developed with Caitlyn Clark. And speaking of Clark, we're seeing a new version of Caitlyn Clark. No longer the lone superstar trying to will her team to victory with deep threes and flashy assists. Now, she's fired up, feeding off Sophie's energy and leading with purpose. Clark had 22 points and 11 assists, but it's how she controlled the pace that stood out. She's now reading defenses like a veteran, punishing switches, drawing double teams, and immediately finding Sophie, Kelsey Mitchell, or Nalissa Smith on the wing. And when Cunningham caught fire in the second half, hitting back-to-back threes and screaming to the crowd, it was Caitlyn who met her with a chest bump and a yell of her own. This is the Caitlyn Clark we've been waiting for. A floor general who empowers her teammates, gets fired up by their success, and elevates the entire squad. Let's be honest, the Indiana Fever were in chaos early this season. The rotations were shaky. The chemistry was inconsistent. But now, everything's clicking. Why? Because the Fever finally have an identity. They're fast. They're aggressive. They're physical. They talk trash. They dive on the floor. They're annoying to play against. And it all starts with that trio: Clark, Cunningham, and Boston. Aaliyah Boston, the reigning Rookie of the Year, held her own against A'ja Wilson, and she did it with poise. Nalissa Smith added the speed and rim running. Kelsey Mitchell added shot creation. But the glue? That fiery combination of Caitlyn and Sophie. That's what's igniting this team's energy and effort. Let's talk about what this game meant. The Las Vegas Aces, led by two-time MVP A'ja Wilson, are the defending champs. They're loaded with stars. They've beaten the Fever in their last 7 meetings. They don't get rattled until now. In this game, the Aces looked stunned. From the second quarter on, the Fever imposed their will. They out-rebounded Vegas. They out-hustled Vegas. They outshot Vegas. And perhaps most importantly, they outworked Vegas. You could see the frustration on A'ja Wilson's face. Every time she touched the ball, she was met by swarming defenders. And then Sophie Cunningham chirping in her ear. The Aces were rattled, outmuscled, and outplayed. By the fourth quarter, the crowd in Gainbridge Fieldhouse was loud, feeding off the chaos, the steals, the fast breaks, and Sophie and Caitlyn were orchestrating it all. One thing that was impossible to ignore in this game: the connection between Clark and Cunningham. There was a play late in the third. Clark ran a pick and roll, drew the double team, and without even looking, slung a one-handed whip pass to Cunningham in the corner. Splash. Free ball. Timeout Aces. Crowd goes insane. And Clark? She doesn't jog back. She sprints to Sophie with a fist pump and a primal yell. This is the bond that championship teams are built on. Not just mutual respect, but mutual trust. And let's be real, Caitlyn Clark needs a tough teammate like Sophie. Someone who will throw an elbow, talk trash to her enemies, and have her back when things get chippy. Cunningham is becoming that for Caitlyn. Her protector, her energy twin, her enforcer. The sports media world took notice. ESPN analysts were stunned by how the Fever dismantled the Aces, calling it their coming-out party. Former WNBA players said it was the most energized and complete Fever performance all season. Social media was on fire. Fans praised the Clark-Cunningham connection, calling them the new dynamic duo of the WNBA. Others even asked, is Cunningham the Fever's Draymond Green? Not the stat sheet hero, but the spark plug who ignites the engine? And Clark? She was cool, confident, and direct in the post-game. We played connected, she said. Sophie was huge for us. She brought the energy, and we just fed off it. That's leadership. That's growth. That's what we've been waiting to see from Caitlyn Clark. Let's not sugarcoat it. Aya Wilson is a future Hall of Famer, but even the greats have off nights. And this game? Wilson struggled. She still managed 19 points, but shot under 40%, had 5 turnovers, and looked visibly frustrated throughout the second half. Why? Because she wasn't getting her usual spacing. Boston, Smith, and even Cunningham rotated perfectly, doubled her at key moments, and forced the ball out of her hands. But more than that, Wilson was clearly annoyed by the Fever's energy. Cunningham jawed at her. Clark stared her down after a clutch 3. It wasn't just basketball. It was mental warfare. And the Aces blinked. After the game, Sophie Cunningham didn't hold back. We're not here to be anyone's stepping stone, she said. We're not afraid of the champs. We're not afraid of the spotlight. We're here to win. Boom! That's the message the Fever have been lacking for years. That edge, that attitude, that willingness to step into the fire and say, bring it. Cunningham has unlocked something in this team. She's not just a role player. She's becoming the heart and soul of a resurgent franchise. For much of this season, Clark was shouldering everything: playmaking, scoring, media duties, and the pressure of being the league's biggest star. But now, with Sophie hitting threes, Kelsey Mitchell slashing, and Boston locking down the paint, Clark is free. Free to orchestrate. Free to dominate. Free to lead. And when Clark plays loose, she's a problem. She hit logo threes. She dropped dimes. She even had a highlight chase down block. And the best part, she looked like she was having fun again. Smiling, laughing, yelling, leading. The Indiana Fever just beat the defending champs in a game where everything clicked. They looked like a playoff team. Like a contender. Like they belong. Caitlyn Clark is evolving. Sophie Cunningham is heating up. And the team, finally, is believing in itself. And with Sophie Cunningham bringing the heat and Caitlyn Clark fired up right alongside her, the Indiana Fever might just be the most dangerous team in the league. Let us know in the comments, is Sophie Cunningham the secret weapon the Fever needed all along? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.